there's a 23-year-old quietly downing Bundesliga defenses in a way that's genuinely unsettling. Michael Olise's numbers at Bayern Munich aren't just impressive, they're abnormal. Since arriving in Bavaria, he's racked up 36 goal contributions in just 40 games. That's ahead of Vinicius Junior, ahead of Lamine Yamal. And what's truly frightening is that we're watching a player still learning to walk in a system that's designed to make him sprint. The scary truth? You haven't seen anything close to his ceiling yet. Michael Olise wasn't discovered by some elite academy scout at a European powerhouse. Born in White City, London, to a Nigerian father and French-Algerian mother, he bounced through Chelsea and Arsenal's academies before landing at Reading. Most players would have been crushed by the rejection. Olise used it as fuel. At Reading, he became the EFL Young Player of the Season at just 18. Crystal Palace triggered his release clause in 2021, bringing him to the Premier League where he'd truly announced himself. At Palace, despite battling a serious hamstring injury, he returned to produce 10 goals and 6 assists in just 19 appearances during his final season. By the time Bayern came calling with a €60 million offer in July 2024, Premier League clubs were all circling, but Bayern moved fastest, and Olise chose to work under Vincent Kompany's high-intensity system. Trailed only Harry Kane in Bayern's squad, both goals and assists in their maiden season. He won Bundesliga Rookie of the Season, made the Team of the Season, and was voted by Michael. But it's rare for a player to integrate this quickly while showing such hunger every single day. But it's not just the numbers making people nervous, it's how he gets them. Operating from the right in Kompany's 4-2-3-1, he's a left-footed nightmare cutting inside at will. His dribbling completed 57 successful take-ons in the 2023/24 season at Palace, and at Bayern, surrounded by world-class talent, he's taken that to another level. His vision splits defenses with passes most players don't see, and his finishing? All 12 of his Bundesliga goals last season came with his left foot, including 4 from outside the penalty area. This brings us to the comparisons that are starting to emerge. Lothar Matthäus watched Olise and said, "Bayern now have someone similar to Arjen Robben in that position. That's not a comparison you make lightly." Robben was a generational talent who tortured defenders for years with that signature move. Receive the ball on the right, cut inside onto his left foot and unleash a curler goalkeepers could see coming but still couldn't stop. Olise has that same DNA, the body shape, the shoulder drop, the way he manipulates defenders into showing him onto his stronger foot before punishing them. Olise himself acknowledged the comparison, saying that when he cuts inside from the right and shoots, there's maybe a similarity to Robben's trick. But he was quick to add he's not trying to be Arjen or Frank Ribéry, he's Michael. That self-awareness at 23 is remarkable. Then there's the Thierry Henry connection, which goes deeper than people realize. At the 2024 Paris Olympics, Olise played under Henry's coaching for France's Olympic squad. The experience was transformative. Olise himself said Henry is a legend and that he learned new aspects he's integrated into his play, noting they share a similar understanding of football. Henry famously declared before the Olympic final, "You ain't seen nothing yet, it's only the start." It's not often that you get players like that. This is Thierry Henry saying there's more to come from Olise. France won silver at those Olympics, with Olise registering 2 goals and 5 assists across the tournament. His link-up play, his movement between the lines, his ability to ghost into pockets of space and create something from nothing all bore Henry's fingerprints. The Henry comparison extends beyond coaching. Both possess that rare ability to operate across the front line with devastating effect. Henry could play striker, left wing, or drift into the number 10 space. Olise shows that same versatility. He's most effective on the right, but he's comfortable centrally and has even operated as a secondary striker when needed. His football intelligence allows him to read the game multiple steps ahead. He understands spacing, timing, and how to exploit gaps between defensive lines. Like Henry, Olise doesn't just create for others, he finishes chances with a clinical edge that separates good players from elite ones. What makes Olise particularly frightening is how perfectly he fits into Vincent Kompany's tactical system. Kompany wants domination of possession, numbers committed forward, and aggressive counter-pressing after losing the ball. Olise thrives here. When Bayern build up, he positions himself in the right half space, ready to receive in a forward-facing posture. This gives him the option to immediately take on his defender 1 versus 1, and when Bayern lose possession, Olise presses with intensity. He made over 15 high regains in the 2024/25 season, most of them counter-pressing recoveries. For an attacking winger to show that defensive work rate demonstrates a completeness that top clubs crave. The recent match against Borussia Dortmund in Der Klassiker perfectly encapsulated what Olise brings. Bayern dominated from the opening whistle, with Olise constantly probing Dortmund's defense. He forced Gregor Kobel into a brilliant double save, struck the post with a fierce effort, and generally made life miserable for BVB's backline. Then, in the 78th minute, he delivered the killer blow. After Luis Diaz's cross was desperately blocked on the line by Joe Bellingham, Olise slid in to make it 2. That goal effectively ended the contest, giving Bayern the cushion they needed in a 2-1 victory that extended their lead at the top of the Bundesliga to 5 points. Elite players don't need perfect chances, they create goals from chaos. But let's address the areas where Olise can still improve. Despite his brilliance, his defensive contribution remains his weakest attribute. Statistical analysis ranks his defensive work as weak compared to elite wingers. He's willing to press and track back, but his positioning in defensive phases needs refinement. Olise has worked on this, following tailored strength and conditioning programs to add lean muscle. The Premier League's physical intensity prepared him well, but there's room to grow. Additionally, consistency has been mentioned as something to monitor. While he can produce breathtaking performances, maintaining peak performance week after week demands even more. At 23, these are exactly the types of improvements that come with experience. Another area for development is his aerial presence. Standing 184 centimeters tall, he isn't small, but becoming more dominant in the air would add another dimension. The fact that Olise reviews game footage regularly, discusses areas for improvement openly, and embraces coaching feedback shows the mentality that separates good players from legends. He's not satisfied with being excellent, he wants to be complete. What's genuinely terrifying for the rest of Europe is the trajectory he's on. He's already producing at an elite level at one of the world's biggest clubs, and only 23. Most attacking players don't hit their absolute peak until their mid to late 20s. Olise has potentially 5 or 6 years of development ahead before he reaches his ceiling. The technical skills are already there. The football intelligence is obvious, the mentality and work ethic are unquestionable. As he gains experience and continues working on his weaknesses, the player he becomes could be truly special. His story is still being written, but the early chapters suggest something remarkable. The Robben comparisons, the Henry influence, the statistics that rival the world's best wingers, they all point to a player ascending to the game's highest level. And here's the scary part, he's still learning, still improving, still hungry. The numbers back up the eye test. Michael Olise isn't just a promising talent anymore, he's a genuine superstar in the making. And if you're not paying attention, you're already behind. Remember to leave a like.